Hi there, my name is Toby and today I want to talk about healing architecture. And really it's a question, can a building do anything for your healing? And the answer is yes, it can. This is ancient technology, this is ether technology, healing technology. And it's very mysterious, and this is an old world building here, it's actually a church. Yeah, but it doesn't look like a church to me. The churches, the idea of a religious building came later. I believe these were much older buildings, and these were buildings designed with ether, metaphysics, healing technology. And the secret to this is geometry. You can see how complex the geometry is, and at the top here we've got a flame, a very similar flame we see on the top of a lot of these buildings, even on things like the Statue of Liberty. But this again represents a particular mathematics. It represents also the golden ratio. And then you come down and you see these building blocks step by step, and this angle there looks like the golden angle, again to do with the golden ratio. So the geometry of these buildings is very clever. It's to do with proportionality, relative proportions, and this is what gives it a particular resonance, and it's a resonance that's good for living energy fields, our aura. And again, that's why it's so mysterious. But these buildings were built for that purpose. And later on, of course, the religions came along and realized that, but they claimed it for themselves. So you can see here now we've got the writing. They're actually saying it, heal the sick. But this writing is not original. I'm pretty sure this is not original. If you look around here, you can actually see how primitive the writing is. We've got on the side, heal the leper, but cleanse the leper, but it wouldn't fit. You can see the H in though doesn't even fit. So they've had to jam the words in. So either these words are added later, they cleaned it off and recarved it, or maybe even the section is put in later. It's hard to see what is original and what isn't. But these buildings were universal. They were to do with geometry itself. They hadn't given it any names, any words, any religion. It was very high level metaphysics. It's the only way I can describe it. And the people that built this knew about the life force, or the ether. And here you can see again the symbolism, a little child's face there, innocence, with wings, and above that is scrolls, that's wisdom, and a crown. So again, this is symbolic, but this attracts the energy, the high level energy, the spiritual energy. It's to do with geometry. All that little artwork will be proportional. And at the sides, you've got these sheaves of wheat. So again, represent abundance, but also coherence, power, unity. So this is symbolism, but this is symbolism connected to geometry. Detailed analysis has to be done of the proportionality of that face, these little faces. And that's where the secret comes in. It's the proportionality of all these shapes. That's what gives it the power. And it's a mysterious power we do not understand anymore. And in order to understand it, you've got to understand ether, metaphysics, how it works. And that's what I talk about on this channel. So please do check out my series on ether physics, where I explain in detail how this science works. But you can see this is an old building, and now it seems to be crammed in here between others. But there are other old buildings as well. You can see many different generations of old world buildings here in London. So it's very interesting that we had this knowledge through various generations, and we use this knowledge in different ways. So even next door there looks like a residential building, but it's still an old world building, old world geometry on there. So they understood the significance of geometry and they were using it. And again, the important bit is not just the shape, it's the relative proportions, the size of each shape relative to the other shape. And it's also numerology, numbers of windows on the layers. So they are multi-purpose building. The height was to do with electrostatics, so we go higher and higher all the way up to the top, the antenna. But of course also each height level represents levels of energy in the universe. Again, it's metaphysics, the physical world down below, moving up to the spiritual world up above, connecting to the ether, the pure force, the energy at the top. And this is an interesting building. We got square doorways. A lot of these old buildings would have arched doorways, but here we got square doorways. But again, very big doorways. And this metalwork, so it's hard to tell whether the metalwork came later. I suspect it did. So again, even though this to me looks like a very old building, and it may have been changed a few times through various generations, but previous generations still may have had this geometry knowledge. They knew what this building was doing, and they're trying to make use of it. And you can see all these little minute patterns. Again, this is numerology, and this all has to be cast. It's not carved. These are cast blocks. They have to be perfect and then put into place. But you see how it was. The building did the healing. And then later on the religion comes and says, yeah, no, it's the religion doing the healing. Yeah, no, it's not the religion. It's the building itself. The building was designed to resonate with the human aura, the human energy field, the morphology of a living being. Not just humans, any life forms would come in here, and it would do them good. Now here's a church. This is a classic church design, and you see these churches all over the world. You've got a spire on one side, then you go to a hall, and then behind it there will be another little smaller hall parallel to the main hall, and then in front you can see here there's another hall perpendicular to the main hall. So they always have this pattern, and it's usually a square tower going up to an 8-sided spire. And you can see the 8-sided spire slowly stretches up through these little pyramids, and it's probably repaired multiple times. And there would have been at the top here a weather vane, gold or copper, and they've taken that down now. And that would be again to collect the electrostatic frequencies. But look at some of the blocks. Some of the blocks here are very, very old. Very old indeed. Look there, it's not carving, cast. These have to be perfect. So this is cast stone, limestone or sandstone, I'm not sure. But a lost art to carve these stone, and then, cast these stone and piece it together with perfection. Again, it looks simple. It's not so much about the geometry, it's the relative proportionality. The relative size of the spire compared to the hall. The relative size of the side hall and the back hall compared to the main hall and the spire. Then the relative size of the windows compared to the tower. And of course the angles of the spire. All the angles are correct and balanced. It's all to do with the golden ratio. So when you look at this whole building, it just feels right. It's asymmetrical, but in perfect balance. This is the secret. This is the mystery that we're not even looking at. This is how the Aether technology works. And again, the windows are to do with magnetic field. The magnetism connects us to space, geometry, patterns. Again, not directly, indirectly. Electricity connects to height. It's the height of the spire, because going up in the atmosphere, there's a higher voltage. But it will also go down underground. There are going to be deep foundations and catacombs underneath this church. They always have them. The geometry goes below. And then look at these windows. These look like, I don't know, alien UFOs. These circles, again, 3 circles with 6-sided circles in the middle. And then again, this sort of triangle, curved triangle. And inside that is a straight triangle. So very complex geometries, and these will be perfectly measured. And you will find proportions in there. It will connect to things like the water molecule, the size of an atom. And these are also cymatics, frequency patterns of sound. So the cymatics of these windows will connect to the resonant frequency of the hall. So these patterns will connect to the size of the hall, and also, of course, the bells. The bells in this tower will be resonant. So you've got these windows here with slats, so let the sound come out, but it will sound will be echoing. Again, this is very elaborate, complicated cymatics, acoustics, very advanced to create to know the size, proportionality of this building for the acoustic resonance of the bells. So we underestimate these buildings. These are very ancient technology to do with healing and energy. And we knew it was, but later on the religions came and said, yeah, it's the religion doing the healing. And of course you'd have holy water inside that. This building will structure the water. Water inside this building would be energized. And I've done a video on structured water. I'll leave the links below to that, how that works. So that's what holy water was. Holy water comes from these buildings. It's not the religion. It's the technology of the building, the technology of ether, electromagnetism that charges, energizes, structures the water. So you go to these places for healing. And there'd be more than that. In some of these churches, again, you don't see them anymore, but I've seen accounts, stories of people whose grandmothers remembered this. And you'd go to the church and everyone would take with them a metal ball, a solid metal ball, and they just leave it in the church while they had their service or whatever, because the church was so electrostatic that it would charge up these metal balls. They'd take the metal balls home, put them in the fireplace, and they'd have a special place, and these would be electrostatically charged, and for a week or so they would be able to get electricity off that ball. So it would do some electrical technology in the house. And they took it to the church to charge them up. And inside the church there would be metal wires coming down from the ceiling. Again, bringing the electrostatics down into the area. And we don't have this anymore. Now we have a lightning conductor that takes it away. But this would charge up with lightning. And you can see there the final proportionality. So please do check out my homepage, look through my videos and on ether physics and ancient technology. And I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.